There's just one place where you can drive a new Acura ZDX for only $239 a month. The Customer Appreciation Sale at Acura of Pembroke Pines. Thank you for making us number one.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welt & Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welt & Rayom can help.
P, the place to be. It is the Squared Circle Digest. I am Sean Stanley, and that is the great Frankie Fresco. How we doing, sir?
What's up, Sean? I need to find a way that I could do a video of me maybe doing a walk-in entrance. That way we could add it into the introduction. Because I feel like I'm left out. I feel like
you are. I'm sorry.
You look
I
like
threw,
you look
I
such
threw it
like
all me. I threw it all me. I'm not gonna lie.
well, you are the wrestler.
No, you know what we could do? We could do it one-on-one. We'll call up, see if we can make it happen here locally. Me and you, one-on-one. We don't have to wrestle. We just do the entrances.
Oh, we can wrestle too. I'll make sure I take the win.
All right, but it's got to be a death match.
That's fine. It has to be a street fight too. Like I could use weapons and stuff, right?
Yeah, so can I. Yes.
Yeah, that's fine. I gotta use some weapons because obviously you got the weight on me, so I have to find a way to counter the advantage that you have on me. So I'm just saying. I feel like you look such like a no homo. You look like a badass when you're walking in. There's a slam and all that stuff. I'm like, damn, I wish I had like a video of me either getting body slammed or something like that too, or me maybe doing a power bomb on you or something. That'd be so badass.
Not a power bomb on me. Power bomb on DiTrapio. Let's put DiTrapio in there.
Hey man, you know what? If it's a street fight, I gotta start calling my boys out. I gotta ask No Doubt. I gotta ask Finn, Sammy. I gotta ask Josh to jump in and help me out. Just like Pat McAfee had his whole crew. Memo, DiTrapio, all of them. They're jumping in, Sean. So if it's you against me in a street fight, make sure you have some backup because all the guys on the chat board will be.
So you're telling me it's going to turn in like WrestleMania? Everybody's just going to come all of a sudden. Everybody's just going to start hitting the ring.
Yeah, man. I mean, dude, you have the advantage. You have the wrestling experience, the wrestling background, the weight advantage, the strength advantage. The only advantage I have is to fight dirty, like Dirty Dom Mysterio. So the only way I could go ahead and cheat my way to victory is by getting everybody in the chat board to jump on my side and help me beat you. And when we go to pin you, I'll jump, and then like we have like 5 or 6 guys also, all of us holding you down, and then I get the victory. The 1, 2, 3.
All right, I'm gonna ask this right now. If we were to go 1-on-1, last man standing contest in the chat, whoever's there right now, if you're on X, Facebook, Twitch, either one of the YouTube channels, comment right now. Whose side are you on? Are you on the Sean Allen side? Or are you on Frankie Fresco's side? Let's just sign it up now.
No, that seems like
we will book it, and they will come.
That seems like you're trying to sway some of the guys over to go for you, because you go and you say, "Are you for the Sean Stanley side?" Or
No. I said
Frankie
the Sean Allen, because when I get in the ring, I turn back into the Sean Allen. So that's an ass whooping coming your way.
I mean, look, man. Again, man, the chat board. I got my peoples. I got No Doubt. I mean, all I gotta do with
apparently all you got so far is No Doubt, because
I gotta have.
Sammy said sorry, Frankie. Stephen Gonzalez. Sammy said he'd turn on you.
Josh is with me. Josh said Frankie can win, so Josh is on my side.
Well, Sammy's on your side to turn on you.
You know who's also who's on my side? He hasn't said it, but he sent me a private DM. Stony Stanley. He told me that he would turn on his son just to make sure I win.
I think my dad would hit me with a steel chair just to do it.
Damn right.
I think you would.
Your dad would be with Frankie.
No, that says I feel like I'm picking between parents in divorce court.
I'll tell your dad to do a Paul Heyman on you, bro.
Oh, he would do it so much so. And actually, Sammy and Noel and a lot of them were talking about. Let's go into the Raw now. I wanted to start with the release, but we'll get into that in a little bit, because now I feel like we're kind of lighthearted to kind of turn into that subject right now. Your thoughts on Raw last night? And the one thing I put on the sheet, and I said, another difference between WWE and AEW TV.
Yeah, I didn't know what you meant with that.
No?
Talk to
You
me.
didn't find it odd that all of a sudden Jey Uso comes out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows Seth Rollins wants a shot at the title.
Correct.
Paul Heyman comes out, cuts a great promo, kind of spills all the beans about why he did what he did on CM Punk and why he did. So they kind of started tying that angle up, right?
Yeah.
Now they've started Jey Uso and Seth Rollins, so you think, right?
Yes.
Then you get to the main event, and what do you find out? You get near the end, and what is it? CM Punk and Seth Rollins is being continued from this match. Sami Zayn's kind of getting put in because I think there's going to be like a tag team match on Raw coming up. So there you got one feud going and continuing on from this match. Then Raw goes off the air, but WWE keeps rolling, and what happens?
You got Logan Paul coming.
Paul nails him. So now you've got 2 matches rolling off of one match that nobody expected.
Correct.
That's the difference between AEW TV and WWE TV.
So you mean AEW would just go ahead and give you a match and that's it without
because they wouldn't have ran another angle off. How many times have you seen they always want to have a winner and a loser?
That is true. They do really always. That is the concept that they most.
Yeah, I mean, again, and I'm not saying it's right and wrong. I'm just saying that's the difference to me that makes WWE more episodic, because now you can continue things. Whereas with AEW, each show is almost its own. Whereas now they've gotten better. They've done some angles. They ran a couple, maybe a little bit long, but at least they're doing that. Whereas you watch WWE TV, and again, not right, not wrong, but now you've brought in 6 people into a match that was one-on-one. And you had Paul Heyman tie up the whole thing of why I did what I did with the promo he cut on Jey Uso. So now you start seeing Heyman's thinking behind everything. So technically they kind of tied up 3 things, and ultimately, I gotta believe somewhere down the line, Roman Reigns comes back in, and then now you keep that rolling.
I will say this, and no doubt what happened was they won off air, and Logan Paul.
Yeah, it was only on their social media.
It was only on social media. Logan Paul went ahead and hit the crap. He connected his super punch on Jey Uso, and then he just walked off. He was in the audience when he did that.
Yeah, Jey
Anyways,
Uso gets out of the ring. He's touching everybody's high-fiving everybody sitting in the fans home happy. As he walks around by the timekeeper area, Logan Paul runs in, nails him with the left, lays him out, and then leaves.
yeah. I will say this, AEW used to do stuff like that spontaneous. I'll tell you why. I'll never forget that they had one particular Dynamite where I think it was like a mascot. I don't know if it was for Shark Tank or what it was. And
Or Shark Week.
it could have been for Shark Week. Sorry, not Shark Tank. Shark Week or something like that. And they had like a mascot, or maybe there was in Jacksonville Jaguars and they had the Jacksonville Jaguar
We
mascot.
did that a couple times.
I don't remember which one it was, but I remember that there was one where they were like fighting and all that stuff, and then the mascot got in the ring, and then he took off his mascot head, and it was Hangman Adam Page.
Mhm.
So they used to do it. They just kind of
Yeah,
have
no,
gone away
again,
from it.
But they've gone away from it
Yeah.
since, I believe, when Cody left the company.
Correct.
I
agree.
believe Cody wanted to be more, and again, this is all Sean Stanley talking, don't know shit, but it feels like they wanted to go away from that, whereas Cody wanted to stay with that because, again, he comes from the old school. Yeah, he's more newer school, but he still comes from the old school where there's storylines and you build on things and you know, and that's the part to me where I feel like they lost that for a little bit. And again, not saying right, not saying wrong, but to me, it adds more suspense to me tune in next week now, because what happens with CM Punk and Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins? I feel like that's going to head to a tag team match.
It does look like it's going to be.
And again, it might not, but it makes me want to tune in because I might see it.
And I will say this. It was cool that they did make it spontaneous, CM Punk coming out. Nobody was expecting that because you had not seen CM Punk in a minute. And this is the first time you actually see CM Punk and Paul Heyman after his betrayal, in a way, around each other.
Yes.
So it was good. And I'm not gonna lie to you, man. It seems like, for me, remember I told you last week, I wasn't feeling too much the Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins, and all that stuff. I thought it was kind of boring, and they needed to sell it to me. It's starting to get to that where I'm like, okay, I'm starting to buy in a little bit more. I saw Paul Heyman try to sing the Seth Rollins. Yeah, exactly. So that's pretty cool. I like that. I was like, okay, cool. So he's making it that way. You know, he could relate, because remember Roman Reigns, he was always like holding his hands like this.
Yeah, he was just the wise man standing there like a statue. I almost said like a tribal statue.
So for me, it's like, what are you gonna do with Seth Rollins? Like, you can't do the same thing that you did with Roman Reigns. So it's building up, and I will say this though, I kind of knew that Seth Rollins was not gonna lose that match.
You knew it. But again, that's what WWE does different than AEW. To me, with AEW, you know somebody's winning and somebody's losing.
Yes.
With that match, I never thought, I'm like, Jay's not losing this belt tonight.
I knew Jay wasn't losing the belt, and I knew Seth wasn't going to lose.
Yeah,
something was going to happen.
Yeah. Exactly. It's WWE. Yeah. It makes you know, and again, what's funny to me is I honestly thought more Roman coming out to save Jay. Then I heard Sammy's music come on, and then I'm like, oh, maybe they do like the little bloodline reunion thing again. And then, of course, they hit CM Punk's music. So I thought it was, again, you knew it was going to be CM Punk or Roman Reigns, one of the two. I just thought since Jay was involved and then they brought Sammy out, I thought the next logical music to hit would have been the Tribal Chief. But it wasn't. It was CM Punk. And again, you can't go wrong with either way you go to start this feud. But again, it gives Jey Uso a chance to defend the title a couple times. And then now you're still building on the Seth, CM, Punk, Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman style till one of them finally gets through, and then they'll probably end up taking the title. If not somebody before that.
Do I still feel that Jey Uso is a weak heavyweight champion? Yes, I still do feel like.
Well, I think they made it even look weaker when he's laying in the corner, just looking at CM Punk and Sami Zayn in the ropes, and he just looked like a beat down. I mean, I get it. He just had a match, but it's like, that's your champion, man.
It's just, you could see that both of those guys supersede Jey Uso, and Jey Uso's supposed to be the main guy for Raw, and then Cody's for SmackDown, because those are your champions. But, you know.
Well, I mean, look how hard Cody had to fight, honestly, to become that over there. And now Jay's kind of taking on that task of he's doing all the medias. He's doing a lot more stuff that he wasn't doing now that he's the champion. So maybe they're trying to use the blueprint kind of like what they did with Cody to make it work because, again, he's overshadowed on the show by Roman, CM Punk, Seth Rollins.
Well,
I mean,
there was one thing that I heard Vince Russo say, and I know you're not a big fan of Vince Russo, but he did mention something that kind of caught my eye, and I saw it on a short, I think from the podcast that he has on Mondays. But he says that what wrestler has Triple H gotten over? Like, who has he been able to get over to the next level? And when you look at it, technically it would be Cody, but Cody was not brought in by Triple H. That was Vince McMahon who brought him in. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking at who has he technically been able to make and get over to the fan base, Jey Uso is kind of like your first kind of like wrestler that you might say he worked on getting him over, but is still struggling because I can't see any girl. I mean, who's the champion? Tiffany Stratton. Maybe Tiffany would be a good one. Maybe you could say Tiffany Stratton on the girl side. But who else has he gotten over? Like, there hasn't been that many wrestlers that he has gotten over that you could honestly go ahead and say,
yeah, when you look at it, though, honestly, how long has he been? I mean, again, however you want to look at it, how long has he been running it?
Well, he's been over a year now, right?
I guess, yeah, maybe.
Because he has his.
But again, now, do you look at the CM Punk return as his?
No.
See, this is where, again, like, so what do you compare as his?
I would say wrestlers that had the potential to be superstars and they're now to the next level. Like, for example, a Jey Uso.
Yeah, but Jey Uso was in the work. The problem is, see, this is where...
Ooh, Josh is saying Tiffany's another weak champion. And people are criticizing that.
He's been played out as weak because of the whole thing with Charlotte. That is true. I felt like she lost some luster with that. Even though she won it, I felt like that lost her momentum with me, the way everything went down, even as a professional and everything else. Like, you have to be that guy. I mean, No Doubt says Fatu.
But he hasn't gotten there yet. I know he's the champion. He's the USA champion, right? Is he a USA champion?
He's the US champion right now. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm. Do you think he's stardom? No,
what I'm saying though is
he's working on.
He hasn't been there long enough. Like, to me, it's like college football. Back in the day, it takes 3 years before you get your signature on the program.
I don't know, man.
These are already worked out. Unless somebody gets hurt, you're right from WrestleMania to WrestleMania. Yeah, somebody gets hurt, then somebody slides in. So how, if he's only been running this for a year, most of this stuff was already laid out through creative, and then he came in and maybe made some changes.
Nah, but come on, Sean.
How much is he going to change?
They don't have things laid out for 3 years from now. They have stuff laid out maybe 6 months, maybe a year tops.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. How can you? If he's been there for a little over a year, that year was already laid out. So now he's going into his. But even if it's 6 months, so 6 months he can't do anything.
Well, he got Jey Uso, but
Jey Uso was already heading that way. Is what I'm saying.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't heading that way until Triple H took over. And nobody expected Jey Uso to win the Royal Rumble.
That's no. I mean, writing that, yes.
That's when he went ahead and said, "You know what? I'm going to put Jey Uso."
Him breaking off and going into the Yeet started a while ago.
Yeah, see, him breaking off and stuff, this started a while ago. But if I'm not mistaken, him breaking off was during the Triple H run. I don't think it happened when Vince was still in charge. That was during the Triple H moment.
Maybe the first time Triple H took over, but then Vince came back.
I don't remember. Chat board, if you guys remember.
We got to look at the timing. I mean, I know that's going to become a thing, or else I would have already looked it up. But
I gotta look.
The problem with the whole thing is, again, if you look at it as 6 months or whatever, then he's been in charge for 6 months.
And you know what? I know a lot of you guys are are saying something in the chat board. I know Josh said give me Jade as a champion, stuff like that. There is a topic on the spin wheel that we hopefully it lands on it, and it does talk about NXT and new wrestlers jumping on board. So hopefully that's a
And
topic.
also, like to me though, I don't, and I'll go with what No Doubt's kind of saying. He's saying, so what's next level are you reaching for? Major champion, WWE superstar? Like, I mean, everybody can't win the championship, and you
Correct.
can't lose the title every other week. Like,
What?
to me, Jacob Fatu, you look at Solo Sikoa, you look at some of these other guys.
Whoa, hold on. Solo Sikoa has taken a back seat. You know that.
He's taking a back seat because that's the storyline. Because
No,
Jacob Fatu's
but-
got to turn on him.
Yeah, but he's taking a back seat, dude. Like he hasn't even been relevant in a minute. Like he's there, but he's taking
But
a
he's
back seat.
part of the storyline, is what I'm
He
saying.
is. He is part. Nobody's saying that he's not part of the
But
storyline.
then, so what is a star? What's a superstar?
You-
Because there's only so many titles. Everybody doesn't get. It's not participation trophies.
Okay, no, but you mean
So if
I'm
you're not
talking-
a champion, you're not getting a push. You're not. You're not relevant?
no. I'm saying getting over. So, like for example, I'll give you an
But
example.
Solo is getting over in his position.
Solo is not getting over.
Oh my God,
Solo. They tried to make him as the tribal chief for a while. That was kind of like a hit or miss. There were some times that it was okay. There were some times that they really messed up.
That
on
was a
that.
part of the storyline to get this because Roman was out for so long, though.
And not only that, but
And
they
his
had
whole
to
thing
actually
now is
bring.
that he's the one stabbing Jacob Fatu in the back.
But they need when he was the head of when he was the tribal chief or had the Olafala on him, they needed to bring Jacob Fatu to kind of push him even more. And there was a lot of times when you yourself went on record to say, yo, they're making Solo look soft, like he's not even the head of the tribe, of the bloodline. There was a lot of cases. That's
there were times there, but at the
you
same
can't
time-
use that as him getting over because they didn't use him correctly for those stories. They were using him in the stories, but he didn't get over. It's not like, oh my God. In my opinion, getting over is like, yo, that person is now a main attraction to the point where people need to see him or want to see him. And he's going to, like, he doesn't have to be every single time or she has to be there every single time. But the moment that they come in, holy crap, it's a wild thing. Kind of like when CM Punk steps out. Wow. When Roman Reigns comes out. Wow.
CM Punk, Roman Reigns to Solo Sikoa and these guys that haven't been there for a drink of coffee yet.
I mean, again, I'm not.
But my thing is
I'm
this.
giving you like an example. I'm
So
not
let me
saying
ask
that
you
that's
this.
to go that
Let me
extreme. But
ask you this. You're talking about Solo not being relevant or anything like that, right?
over. He's not over. I don't feel
Okay,
he's over.
so then what right now does everybody want to happen? When you look at Jacob Fatu, what is the next step you want to see happen in Jacob Fatu's career?
I think they want Jacob Fatu eventually to become a heavyweight champion.
No, they want Jacob Fatu to beat the crap out of Solo.
Nobody cares about Solo.
Oh my God, bro. You didn't hear when Nick Aldis said?
Nobody cares about Solo.
Yeah, when he said-
Nick Aldis
when he
can
said
talk
the-
all this stuff.
Oh
I don't
my
care.
God,
I don't
bro.
care about Solo. Do you think if I put
You
Solo
don't-
versus
I'm sorry, Wrestling World. This show is over. We're done. Frankie Fresco has talked. Nobody's opinion matters. Frankie Fresco tells you if somebody's over or not, and therefore, Frankie Fresco gets the double guns.
give the guns to me because obviously I'm making a lot of sense here. What is going on here is that who the hell cares about Jacob Fatu versus Solo? I don't care about Jacob Fatu versus Solo. I don't care. I care about Jacob Fatu. I don't care about Solo.
Okay.
Because even if I see Jacob Fatu versus Solo, I expect Jacob Fatu to kick his ass. They might go ahead and they'll
And
probably.
why do you want to see
they'll-
it? Because
they'll
you want to see
probably-
Solo get his ass kicked.
They'll probably give Solo maybe a victory here and there just for the storyline, but it isn't to the extreme where I'm where I'm invested on like, yo, I really want to see that fight between Solo versus Jacob. I could tell you this right now.
You're Vince Russo. You're Vince Russo.
It's not Vince Russo. I'm
is.
saying that there is
Everybody's
nobody.
gotta be-
He's not
everybody's
over.
Gotta be like this big CM Punk attraction. I'm sorry, you don't get that from everybody. You have to have the different elements of the show. Not everybody's going to be CM Punk. Not everybody's going to be, all these other these things. You think everybody's gonna be Roman Reigns? The music hits, and everybody's like, "Oh shit!"
No, but you
If
want to know
got that
something?
show, and
The
you don't. What's gonna happen? Like,
the moment you start losing interest on some of these wrestlers, that's when you have what Cat for Life just finished saying: releases and new arrivals. What ends up happening? People start getting kicked out, people start getting released, and then let me start bringing in new talent, and people can still be relevant and could be there's a couple people that got cut off with WWE, and I don't know if you want to jump into that right now, but that should not have gotten
let's
cut
roll there
off.
because we're on a time frame. So let's roll into the releases. Go ahead, start it if you want to start it.
All
Go
right, so first and foremost, I'm gonna be straight honest. I looked at those cuts and I was shocked, and I heard it in Busted Open, and I agree with those guys. I'm shocked that Braun Strowman got cut.
I'm not.
I thought he did a great job
He
with
did
the whole Jacob Fatu feud,
100%.
with the Bronson Reed feud that he had and all that stuff. Now, obviously, on Busted Open, what they were saying is that apparently he has a mouth, so apparently he's a little bit hard to communicate or something like that is what they were mentioning on it, and that's probably why they let him go. Sometimes you need to fall back and just shut your mouth and then you'll sit around. But honestly, did Braun Strowman deserve to get freaking cut? No, he was doing a good job. He had a great feud with freaking Jacob Fatu. Why would you penalize a guy for just doing that? It makes no freaking sense. And then the other person that they talked about that they felt it was strong was Cora Jade, which I thought she's good. She wasn't bad in NXT. I was a little bit surprised. I'm gonna tell you why. I was surprised at not not the reason why they cut her, but because I think she has potential. And that's my girl, Dakota Kai. I feel that Dakota Kai still had a lot of potential in the WWE. Now I know that she's prone to a lot of injuries, and that's probably the reason why they cut her. But you could tell, look at last night, Io Sky, the whole situation. She looked lost out there. She didn't have anybody else to back her up. Rhea Ripley's in Australia, so you can't. She didn't have Rhea Ripley. So then, who does she have? She used to, if Dakota Kai was still in WWE, Dakota Kai would have ran out and helped her ass out, but she got her ass beat. So that goes to show you why did it cut Dakota Kai? You don't have anybody else from the from that group that she has. They're all hurt. So if you're gonna cut Dakota Kai, then why didn't you cut the rest of the group as well? Because the other two girls are hurt from that group. Are they not? Sean, did you freeze on me or what?
No. I was waiting for you to finish because I didn't want to cut you off. So I'm sitting here and I'm going in here. All right. So here's the deal, man. The creative decision was there's going to be no more damage control. There's no more damage control. Io Sky is getting over as the heavyweight champion. You're going to bring Asuka and Kairi Sane back in as a tag team. There's no place for Dakota Kai, unfortunately. So there is the release there.
Why did they get rid of damage control though?
Braun Strowman makes over like $1.5–2 million. I personally think a lot of these cuts, and again, some of them were not cuts. They were just told your contract's not being renewed because it's coming up. So they're letting them out of their contract early, basically, is what happens. They sit on the deck for 90 days now, and then they'll be free if they're NXT contracts, then they're 30 days. But I personally think a lot of this came down to money. Who's not being used, and who are we paying money to?
Well,
and that's where the decisions were made. Because again, I don't understand, and I get Metaphor was broken up on NXT, but Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson could be good on the main roster. You know what I'm saying? Cora Jade, I know she's been through injuries, but she had battled back and was, making, headway. Dakota Kai, you don't have a place for it. And again, I think it came down to where's the money going on some of these. And again, the problem too is you have to remember this. TKO is not WWE. TKO is WWE, UFC. They got the new boxing thing. They got a bull riding thing. They've got all this other stuff. So if they're losing money somewhere else has to make it up. And I think a lot of this is going into play because right now, WWE is kind of a cash cow for them.
I look, I have a list here. Eddie Thorpe. I don't think he's making that much money in NXT.
No, but he wasn't seen as I'm gonna bring him up anytime soon.
But he was doing well in NXT.
He was, but how many again, you have the LFG people, you have the Evolve people, they gotta come up to the NXT. NXT's gotta cut people.
I get it, but when you're saying, hey, these guys don't have potential, like they were using Eddie Thorpe.
No, I don't mean that they don't have potential as wrestlers. They don't have a potential to advance in WWE.
But they were using them on storylines, and then from 1 week to 2 weeks later, they're out of it. Like Gigi Dolan, they cut off Gigi Dolan, and Gigi Dolan has been relevant. She's been working with Tatum Paxley this whole time. Yes. And Gigi Dolan was going to TNA and wrestling in TNA as well.
Yes. Okay. Again, what was Gigi Dolan making?
Oh, I don't know how much she was making. Now, I will tell you this. If WWE... Okay, this is one thing. Because this is another thing you also got to look at. Does WWE go and tell them, hey, look, man, we're probably going to move on from you. Unless you decide to take a pay cut.
No, they won't do that. They'll just cut you. They're not going to cut. They're not going to ask somebody to... I mean, like, maybe
why
if
not?
It's a huge star.
Like they do it in football. You got sometimes football players that you tell them, hey, man, we're going to cut you unless you want to take a pay cut. Or in the UFC, there's plenty of fighters that tell them, hey, man, you either take a pay cut or you're not, or we're cutting you, bro. What do you want to do? And then at least give them the option. Now, some of them will be like, yeah, screw you, WWE. I'm not doing that. But if you see that there's the potential on the girl, like I think Gigi Dolan had a lot of potential because they were using her.
All of them had potential. That's not.
I don't know about all that because I thought Kaden Carter and the other Katana one.
If you put them back, in the NXT, it's a whole different ballgame.
No, but they weren't. Again, it's too late for you to move them from NXT once you bring them up to the main roster and then bring them back down. The only guy that I don't know why they love him is this guy, the one who injured Big E. I don't know how that guy still has a job because that guy should have been cut. They haven't been using him. He hasn't been in NXT. I don't know if he's injured or whatnot, but how does that guy still survive cuts? Because he was good, but
Gigi Dolan makes, again, this is all hyperbole. She makes about $100,000 a year.
Dude, that's nothing for her, bro.
No, that's nothing for there, but on an NXT deal, that's a lot.
Really?
For what she, I mean, if you're not a Jordan Grace or one of those or Trick Williams, like a lot of those guys, they barely make, there's reason they got roommates. There's a reason a lot of them live together in Orlando.
I mean,
Gigi Dolan make a lot of money.
Gigi Dolan was wrestling a lot more than, with all due respect, and I love her to death because she represents Miami, but she was wrestling more than Lola Vice, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But yet you keep, and I'm pretty sure Lola Vice is making more money than Gigi Dolan.
We'll see. I mean, again, I don't have a chance to look up. Let me see if
now, granted, I get you. I get you that moving forward, because TKO owns this now, they're gonna do cuts left and right.
Well, and also I think it's going to come down to, okay, if we pay you, again, they might have just came in and said, hey, we need you to cut X amount of dollars. They might not even said cut, again, we need you to trim off of this roster this amount of money. Okay, how do we do it? Okay, what's creative for Braun Strowman right now? We really don't have anything in the works for him right now. Okay, that's 1.2, 1.5, depending on what report you want to look at. And it might be more, I don't know. So now I need $3.5 million more dollars. Where do we go? How much is Dakota Kai getting paid? I'm just going to make stuff up here. 500,000. Okay, boom. So now we're up to $2 million. Okay, so now where do we go for the rest of the money? And unfortunately, that it's a business in that sense there. I think all of these athletes, men and women, could be hired by any company and be successful. Now, do I wish they go? Because right now my perception of AEW, I hope they stay more to themselves, or, a contract like with TNA that allows them to do whatever they want to do, or maybe even with AEW where they do a per appearance, something like that, to where they don't get tied down. Because Look, man, my perception right now when you look at AEW with the women's, especially the women, you brought Megan Bain in, made her look like a monster, and now she's feuding with Anna Jay with Harley Cameron slapping her, saying, "I got your fat ass." You know what I'm saying? Like that. What are we doing? I don't want, again, and I said it. I forgot who asked me. I think it was Noel yesterday. Like, if they get paid, go for it, man. If they're going to give you, an open checkbook and say, "Hey, we want you to come here and we're going to pay you this amount of money," go. Get paid, do your 2-3 years, make the most of it, and get paid. But if it's something that you think you might be able to do on your own, man, at this point, I would stay on your own.
But this is the thing, Sean. I feel like there are some wrestlers who are still in WWE that maybe should get cut, but they're still on the roster. Like, I'll give you an example. No disrespect to any of these wrestlers. I want to make it clear. But let's say, for example, on the women's side, BFAB. When did they use BFAB? BFAB comes here and there, and actually she was dealing a lot with Shotzi, which obviously Shotzi's not getting renewed. So what are you going to do with her? Like, that's a girl that, with all due respect, but you probably you should have cutted her. Candice LeRae, another girl that, hey, she's okay, but is she main roster?
Candice LeRae was the speed champion up until recently and lost to Sol Ruca.
Well, I don't watch the speed thing, so I don't watch that. So I'm clueless when it comes to the speed because I don't watch it. I did notice that who won it? Who won the speed? Did
your boy El Grande Americano?
El Grande Americano won it, right? Yeah, I saw a post that he won it. Yeah, so I knew somebody had won it over there. So I'm happy for him, but I don't watch the speed, so pardon my ignorance when it comes to that. But you like. BFAB is one. There was another one I was gonna bring up, which is the other girl that there was another girl that they Maxine Dupree. Maxine Dupree is just rolling around parading herself with this guy Otis and the other guy and Tajawa, and they don't use her. Like, why do you have her there? Like, without the respect, but I mean, again, she's a very pretty girl. Maybe they're just using her for the looks. I have no idea. But why would you keep a Maxine Dupree and not renew a Meeching? I'm sorry. Was it Meeching that they let go? No, not Meeching. It was the other girl. What was her name? Freaking, I forgot her name. I'm so bad with names. When it comes to the NXT side, Nikita Lyons. That's another one. Why is she still in NXT? Like, they don't use her. She's not that great over there. So
I get what you're saying, but again, without us knowing the contract details, I'm telling you, this was just business decisions. This had nothing to do with. This was looking at them and going, "Okay, what do we have in line for Shayna Baszler? Nothing. Okay,
I get the Shayna Baszler release.
Business. No, but Shayna Baszler, when you put her, when she goes like the GCW to Bloodsport and stuff, and you allow her to be herself, like when she was having to wrestle with Ronda Rousey and everything, it becomes something. When she has to be this part of a group that like wearing leather and like that's not Shayna Baszler. Is just a badass fighter. That's the problem. And when you talk about some of these other people, it's because they entertain.
Yeah, but that's not. But
WWE is not about. You don't have to be the greatest wrestler.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to tell you, man, is that there's you're using a lot of these people that they cut are people that actually did put in the work. Maybe not every Monday Night Raw or SmackDown or NXT Tuesdays, but they were putting in the work. There's a lot of wrestlers out there that are not putting in the work. Alexa Bliss, they brought Alexa Bliss back, and they haven't used Alexa Bliss at all, and they brought her back.
This is all I'll say.
And I'm pretty sure she's getting paid too.
Of course she's getting paid.
But they don't cut her and they don't use her. And she's not injured.
Dude, again, Frankie, calm down here. Calm down. Let's listen. Listen. You got your headphones on?
Yes.
Does the right ear work?
The right and the left.
Left ear works.
Both of them work, sir.
Okay. They have plans for Alexa Bliss.
Really?
They have not been worked out yet.
Really?
Yes.
Well,
He's going to be part of the Wyatt Six there, Shaggy.
Really? Oh, yeah.
Really?
When was the last time we saw the White?
Calm down, Scooby. You want a Scooby snack?
When was the last time we saw Alexa, the White Six for that matter?
Again, you have to wait. Again, it's not. See, this is where, like, for me with you, like I want to just hit you with the steel chair. God, I want to take him out right now.
This is the
Me and you 1-on-1. Let's book it right now.
This is the thing,
dude. You want like fucking instant gratification.
I don't want
AEW if that's what you want.
I don't want instant gratification.
Yes, it is. Where's Alexa Bliss? Let it build up.
You're telling me, Sean, since they brought her back in Royal Rumble, we've only gotten one match of Alexa Bliss. One match.
Okay.
You can't do.
So what do we do? Just throw her out there to be like, hey, here's Alexa Bliss because Frankie Fresco wants her out there?
It's not that, Sean. Is that you're going ahead and you're cutting girls like Dakota Kai who actually have been on the show, been in Raw.
I am not.
But then you got an Alexa Bliss, and you're saying their money. You said money is a big. How much are they paying Alexa Bliss? And then you know what,
Frank, you hear what you want to hear? I said money. And what is the plan for them? Do we have plans for them?
You're telling me you couldn't get a plan for Dakota Kai?
I'm telling you they didn't get a plan for Dakota Kai.
That's the right thing to say. They didn't want to. So then that's why they cut her. It wasn't the money.
What has she done, Frankie? Let me ask you this. What has she done?
What do you mean?
What has she done?
She's been part of Damage Control.
Dude, I love the crap out of Dakota Kai. I got on board with you. But other than her being in the finals of the Intercontinental Championship tournament, what has she done since the whole thing with Damage Control went the way it went? And Bayley stopped with it, and then she got hurt. What have they done with her since then? She's been a damn cheerleader.
She has the potential, and we both know that she has the potential.
They all have potential, man.
No, they don't. Not all of them have potential. They had a storyline with her. We even told you, hey, why didn't they make her the Intercontinental Champion? But they went with Lyra Valkyria for it. Again,
they didn't have the story for her to be the champion.
I don't know about all that, man. I think you know what.
The story was for her to be the champion. She'd be the champion, Frankie.
There's a gray line in there, Sean. There's a gray line in there. There's a lot of. It's not only money and it's not only stories. It's also, hey, who do I get along with and who I don't. And you know what, Dakota Kai. You know what? Maybe she rubbed off some people the wrong way. It was like, hey man, Dakota, we don't have any plans for you. See you later. And we had to move on.
If that was the situation, they wouldn't have gotten all of the shit that they gotten when they got released from Charlotte, from Becky, from all of them saying, you know, all the times they hung out together and all the stuff they did for each other and sat there and listened to me in the backstage area. Like, they got along with each other. They got along with it. The problem was the people in charge, creative, didn't have a good plan for what they were going to do in the future. And unfortunately, in this business, you can do the job. They all have potential to do the job. They just weren't written into a good enough part for them to be able to show what they could do. And then you unfortunately become releasable. It's every job happens that way.
And no, not only, but hold on a second. And not only in every job, you also have people you get along with and people that you don't get along with.
You do, but tell me who didn't get along with them.
We don't know that. We don't know that. But I'm saying,
you're trying to make it that now.
Because I'm saying,
you just said no. It comes down to who you like and who doesn't like. You just said it.
True. Because that happens in our regular day jobs, Sean.
Yeah, but
you're telling me if you weren't in companies that you've worked for, you haven't if you robbed the wrong person the wrong way, they're not gonna try to get rid of you. It happens. So I'm just trying to tell you.
But I'm asking you, what facts do you have to back up your story?
The only one I could say facts. And I'm not an insider, so I can't go in. I wish I was an insider, and I wish I had people inside the system.
They're not going to tell you. But I can tell you. Well, anything with this and money-wise, they're not going to tell you.
Busted Open was talking about Braun Strowman, and Busted Open was saying, hey, look, the reason that they probably let him go was because they say that he talks back, and he doesn't He's not an easy person
He
to deal with.
protects his character. He protects his character, but he does the job. He built up Bronson Reed. He built up Jacob Fatu.
And what does he get in reward? Cut.
He got his contract not renewed, is what he got. So they'll probably pay him out, give him a severance or whatever, and go. That dude does not need, like, what is he going to come back for, honestly, for what? To keep building up other people every time? He did his job, and he did it fantastically. And now, if WWE's like, hey, we need to build up another big guy. Oh, well, let's bring in Braun for a couple appearances, give him 10,000 an appearance or whatever. And then he does that on the side. His knees are shot. Have you seen him? I mean, like, him walking hurts me, and my knees are shot too. Like, he doesn't need that build on his body anymore either.
Is Omos still signed with WWE?
He's got a deal where he's signed, but he's on the side.
Yeah, and how many times have we used Omos? Never. Or seen Omos? Never. And that's what I'm telling you, man. I'm speculating. I'm speculating.
We're all speculating, but let me tell you something. In 2025, since January 31st, Duke Hudson, Akam, Blair Davenport, Cedric Alexander, Paul Ellering, Razar, which are the AOP, Akam and Razar are the AOP, Sonya Deville, Giovanni Vinci, Isla Dawn, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, Electra Lopez, Carmella. Greg Miller was a host of the shows on Peacock. Mako Satomura, Braun Strowman, Cora Jade, Dakota Kai, Donnie Palmer, Eddie Thorpe, Gigi Dolan, Jakara Jackson, Javier Bernal, Joe Coffey, Katana Chance, Caden Carter, Mark Coffey, Oro Mensah, Riley Osborne, another host, Ryan Papala, Shane Baszler, Wolfgang, Shotzi. Those are the ones released. You could have a decent company with those names.
I agree.
It goes to, where are you at in the story? Do we have plans for you in the future? And then now, the problem now is, look, what WWE used to do is they would sign you and sit you at home because they didn't want anybody else to have you. They can't do that anymore because TKO owns them. You can't do that anymore. So you have to pick and choose. Who are your guys? And Omos, with what you say there, he goes over to Japan and he's a superstar over there for WWE with Noah. He works with them all the time. And he's become their little, like, their mascot for WWE in Japan because he goes over there as a monster. So again, like I said, I don't know that I would have cut Jakara Jackson. I don't know that I would have got rid of some of them. But obviously, it came down the pike that they had to cut. And again, they usually do cut people after WrestleMania and before the draft and all this stuff. There's usually that window where it happens. But I feel like this time they were giving them money and they had to make it work with whatever they wanted to do. I feel like this was just, again, none of them are on performance or anything like that. This is all just, unfortunately, at this point in time, you're not figured into plans, probably, I would say, up to SummerSlam, maybe after. So now we're going to, And
you're telling me that you, let me ask you this as well, because obviously now they acquired AAA, and we were going to talk about this, that they are obviously signing some of the wrestlers now in AAA wrestling.
I love that you brought this up.
Isn't there a possibility that some of these people that they don't use, or they didn't have any of these storylines, they could have gone ahead and moved them over to AAA and probably at least gotten more see if they get a reaction over there as well? Those are options. WWE,
they did that with the Garzas. They've done it. They're doing it with some of the other talent. Now, I don't know if again, I don't know what you figure Dakota Kai doing over there. And the thing is, they didn't. Like, the whole story came out like Alberto Del Rio gets a WWE contract.
Yeah.
He didn't get a WWE contract. He got a AAA contract with WWE language. WWE had to go back through, and remember, WWE contracts are exclusive. WWE contracts, they own your name. WWE contracts, so what did they do? They went to all the people that are money makers for them, Vikingo,
Yeah.
some of the other women, Alberto Del Rio, all the people up top, and said, here's the WWE language contract. Sign it, because now we're going to own that. That's what we're going to own. They didn't give them any money. They didn't bring them in. I mean, of course, you got to bring in when you acquire, but they're not acquiring that until, what's funny on this is the sale's not going to be final till like the end of the year. So they're going to run shows under the banner that they're not even technically it could fall through.
So here's some of the AAA guys that have already been signed and gals. You got Alberto Del Rio. You got Hijo de Dr. Wagner, Hijo de Vikingo, La Parca, La Yerdra. I don't know what that is. Lady Flamer. Damn. Lady Maravilla and Niño Hamburguesa. Those are some of the people that got signed, according to Ernesto Ocampo of superluchas.com.
And you know another thing, and I don't know if I saw it on the chat here or it just popped in my head or I saw it. I know I saw it somewhere. What's to say, and I see No Doubt says, feels like Dakota Kai will circle back around and be back. What's to say they don't cut him, let him go do something, go to TNA or whatever, and then bring him back?
That is true.
All the time, man.
And remember, we had that speculation that maybe they would get TNA, or maybe they picked up New Japan Pro Wrestling as well. Dakota Kai has ties with New Japan Pro Wrestling.
And what might be interesting too is to see how many of these people sign with TNA. And then again, if WWE purchases it, then they're still back under the WWE umbrella. Or how many are released? You know, again, I feel like there's some inner workings with some of these releases because a lot of them have TNA ties.
Yeah.
And again, not saying again there, but it's going to be interesting to see how some of this shapes out now with all of the inner working that's going on. All right. The other thing I want to talk about real quick, Daniel Bryan said he wanted to start if he had to start a wrestling federation, he would sign 4 AEW stars: Will Ospreay, Swerve, Moxley, Kenny Omega. Then he added that he would include MJF, Hangman, Zack Sabre Jr. Thoughts on that?
I would get rid of Zack Sabre Jr. He's a great wrestler. I don't think you could use him. I don't think he's really good when it comes to story.
He's more in Japan style.
Yeah. So
he's what I thought Will Ospreay was going to be. And then Will Ospreay got this damn huge ass personality, and I was like, I was wrong.
Yeah, Will Ospreay
has turned into something else.
You mentioned, hold on. So you said here Moxley. I wouldn't do Moxley, man. I think the problem with Moxley is just he's such a wild card, and even though he's he's big in AEW and they're riding high on him, I just feel like he had his run in WWE and it wasn't like that great. And now you see him in AEW and his run in AEW is not that great either. So I wouldn't go ahead and say that I would start a company with him. He would be part of the group eventually, but not that I would start a company with him. Kenny Omega makes sense as long as he's able to stay healthy. Will Ospreay, 100%. Swerve, I'm 50-50 on it. I think Swerve has grown on me. But if I had to choose the 4, I think Ospreay is good. I would have definitely put an MJF way over Swerve, in my opinion. Kenny Omega, and then instead of Moxley, he said Hangman Page or Zack Sabre. Zack Sabre, no. Hangman Page. Hangman Page is another guy that I feel is like a middle of the pack guy. He sometimes is up and down. I would say Ospreay, MJF, Kenny Omega. And if there's somebody else, I guess somebody from AEW, if I had to start the company. Man, who's a big guy?
I feel like a guy that's getting left off is Jay White. I feel like he's lost so much because of what has happened there at the company. Like that's what was, and again, I'm going off of what was put in an article. I did not hear the full.
And Okada.
The full podcast. So,
you could have mentioned Okada.
What was said there, but it was interesting to see that, again, I know when you're asked that question on a podcast, you're sitting there trying to go, shit, because I know, it's going to be exactly what we're doing right now. Oh, why didn't he say Jay White? Wait a minute.
Well, you know what?
He didn't say Claudio. He didn't say. Only one he said was Moxley from the Death Riders.
You know who he didn't mention a girl. So if I had to pick a girl, I would say Tony Storm. Tony Storm has gone to the point where I think
Yeah, so then
I would even pick Tony Storm over Mercedes Moné. That's how much. I actually saw a podcast. I saw a podcast of Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff.
Oh, Benjamin Shelton.
I believe. Oh, so yeah, this guy, bro. I don't know why he keeps messing up that guy's name. That's why MVP threw him. Gave him a diss.
He fought Brock Lesnar when he left the UFC, which was actually John Cena, but apparently he thought he was John Cena. But okay.
Anyways, long story short, they did mention on that podcast, hey, Hulk Hogan, what do you feel, are you impressed with the women? And he specifically mentioned Toni Storm. He said that was his favorite girl and that he was impressed with the girl that she was going up against. He didn't know the girl's name. So that was Mariah May. No, it was Mariah May.
Was it Mariah May at that time? Oh, okay.
He was talking about Mariah May against Toni.
I thought Megan Bain would be one because she's got the big arms and it looks like the Hogan type.
Yeah.
Because Hogan loves the things. All right, we're going to dive into the spin the wheel real quick, and then we got the picks, and then we're going to get out.
I could stay for another half an hour. It's fine. No,
I know, but I want to be out by 8:15.
Okay, cool.
My plan too.
Yeah, we're gonna leave the like button.
The one, please hit the like button. The other subject we'll leave till next week. I want to see if it dies down because I couldn't believe that's still a topic this week, but it is what it is.
What is the topic of this week?
Oh no, they're still doing the Hendry Orton match. People
really? People are still complaining about that crap?
Yes, but we'll discuss that next week. Let's get to the wheel. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to spin
the wheel.
The wheel. Oh, look at that. There we are.
Yep.
There we are. But again, now I can't do this until I do this. So Frankie Fresco, why don't you tell us a little bit about how your week went?
Okay. Why not? Sure, why not? Saturday, I had a private event, DJing, and guess who attended the private event? It was for the teachers union, and Bernie from the Miami Heat was at the event, and Kava was at the event as well, our mayor here of Miami. So it was nice going ahead and being able to show them and be the person in charge of the sound and everything for when Kava spoke to the teachers. And then obviously Bernie came in and stayed for like 2 seconds and then left. But
my question is this though: did you play the OTC music when Kava walked in?
No. You know what I played? What they told me? They specifically gave me a song, and it was Katy Perry. Eye of the Tiger. I think that's the name of the one. You got the eye of the tiger. Well, I don't know. I suck at that song. All right, I don't even know if I'm reading.
That's the best you've started on the show, man.
I don't even know if that's how the lyrics go. I suck at lyrics. I only play the music. I don't know the lyrics. And then for Bernie, obviously, you got to play Trick Daddy, Take It to the House. That's the song.
All right, it's time to spin the wheel. Here we go. First topic.
Perfect. This is what we want to talk about. So the reason we bringing up this one about, hey, is Booker T going? Booker T. Is Triple H going ahead and booking correctly some of the new wrestlers and some of the NXT stars is because let's take a look at who he brought in. You brought in Alistair Overeem. Alistair Overeem? No, Alistair Black. Why am I saying Alistair Overeem? I'm thinking UFC. Jesus Christ, I'm so off. Alistair Black, and then you got Rusev. You also got Penta. You also got Rey Fenix. You got those, and then you got the NXT people that they're bringing over. You're seeing more of Julia. You're seeing more of Roxanne Perez. Here's my question to you, sir. And again, I got this idea because of our boy Vince Russo, or at least my boy Vince Russo, that Triple H is not properly booking these people. Look at the match of Rusev versus Otis last night. You didn't get a huge pop, and you also got Rusev getting booed because it wasn't a win-win situation. People love Otis. Why would you go ahead and put him against Rusev? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Because they
want Rusev to get booed.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's what they wanted to do because, I mean, for a minute there, people were cheering for him, and then all of a sudden
he's back. That's why they put him against Otis. You put him against the lovely fat guy to get beat down so that people hate him.
At Fence TV, I could promise you
they're not going to hit us the copyright. There's no way they're going to know that was
I'm
the
pretty sure I
Katy
got
Perry rendition.
I'm pretty sure I got the lyrics wrong. The part I had to play, sorry, the part I had to play was where she says, "Cause you're gonna hear me roar." Whatever. That's
Now that part sounded like Katy Perry a little bit. Now we might be
I took it to a high
now
level.
we
You know,
probably got a strike. Now we probably got a strike.
I cut my voice there and took it to the female voice.
Yeah.
Anyways,
You did good.
so
Did good.
what I'm saying is like, and then now look, you got all of a sudden Roxanne Perez and you got Julia getting into this altercation, getting involved in all this. Do you feel, sir, the Sean Stanley, do you feel that Triple H is booking these new wrestlers correctly with the matches that they're leading up to and the NXT people? Are we seeing progress, or are we going to run into the same issue that we just had this past weekend, where eventually a lot of these guys and gals will get released in the long run?
I mean, releases happen. Unfortunately, it's a part of the business. Unfortunately, whether you like it or not, they're not going to stop. I mean, you don't have enough money to pay everybody, and the fact that they're owned now by another entity makes it even harder. Because now if the PBR loses money, which I'm sure you're not making a whole bunch of money with bull riding, the boxing, I don't know how good that's going to do since your first match is going to be like this star-studded, Canelo against Crawford.
Hopefully. Is it 100% guaranteed that that's the next fight?
My understanding is it is a done deal in September.
Wow, that's a really good fight. We gotta go watch that.
Under their that's gonna be their first boxing card. The TKO boxing, Dana White will.
I'm just telling you. I mean, it better be better. It better be better than what Canelo gave us this past weekend.
But what I'm saying though is look at this as far as like all of these are okay. They might make money right away, but again, they cut live events because they wanted to cut down on cost. That's why they haven't been doing live shows. They wanted to cut down on the cost. So, again, when you say, oh, it's the booking, it's this and that, but you're also booking guys and gals to see every once in a while, are they going to do it? Are they going to scoff at it? What's their attitude when they're not getting fed the diamonds? When they're getting fed the kibble? Does their attitude change? Oh, okay, it changes. Okay, all right. So when everything's good for you, you give me what I want. But when I need you to do something else, now you dog it. Okay. All right. It happens. That's what I feel like a lot of this, and I don't have an issue. Again, they brought Aleister Black in and they put him against The Miz. That's not a terrible, The Miz is building him up. And then now you're going to have him and Carmelo, which I think is going to be a hell of a match at some point. Rusev, you bring him back in, and right now he's tearing apart Alpha Academy, which is what he does. And again, you don't bring him back in to the problem to me right now in WWE is the top picture is so heavy. Like, you're not bringing anybody into that. You have Seth Rollins. What were you going to do? Bring Rusev back in to challenge Jey Uso right away? Aleister Black right in to challenge Jey Uso or John Cena right away?
No, but you could have put in Rusev versus Gunther's partner. What was Gunther's old partner? Luther Kaiser. Luther Kaiser is a good
yeah, but see, you have the thing as Rusev being a good guy.
Yeah.
Rusev's going to be a tweener, I think. I think he's going to be that guy, the redeemer. I'm going to help you redeem yourself. I'm going to help you it's going to be that where he doesn't care if he's booed or he's cheered. He's just
he wasn't helping anybody when he was destroying the crap out of Otis and
no, that's what I'm saying. He's just going to be out there to destroy. He's going to be the guy out there destroying people, getting paid and going home.
And then when it comes to Aleister Black, yeah, they put him against The Miz, but remember the idea that you brought, which wasn't a bad idea, was that maybe he could have secretly gone ahead and attacked Cody. And again, you could set up a match like that where Aleister would go against Cody, and Cody's gonna beat him, but at least you're these are your new toys. So what do you do with your new toys?
Yeah, but see, that's the thing though. What's funny to me is they brought them back as themselves.
True.
They didn't bring them back as shiny toys. They brought them back as Aleister Black returns from the depths of hell. And now we're going to help him be better than he was over there.
But do you think
We're going to make Miro Rusev and make him better than what he is over there? And I will say this before you even ask it. The fact that they showed up to work tells me they believe it. Doesn't matter because they did it. They believed it.
I don't know about all that, man. I mean, we were just talking about it a couple of minutes ago that the releases. Dakota Kai showed up to work a couple times as well before she was injured, and they still let her go. Cora Jade would go and show up to NXT, and they would let her go. But
Jesus Christ!
I know we're going back. I know we're going back,
It's
and
not we're going back, bro.
I know you're.
This you can't. What? So I get it. They kept people you don't like that you don't think that they can. But there's people there that work with them every single day. Every single minute of the day. They know what they're putting in, what they're putting out. And that's why I said, to me, I don't believe it was performance at all. I believe it came down to, do we have anything going on with this person? How much money do they make? And we need to make the biggest cut with the person that's doing the least amount for us, unfortunately. That's what it came down to me. It was business. Because again, as you said, if you want to sit there and put apples to apples and oranges to oranges, yes, there's others doing more. But again, what is the game plan? What are they seeing from these people? What are they not seeing from them people? We don't know that. There was reports out that a lot of the people that were let go from NXT were lazy and didn't want to put in the work and this and that. And I can't believe that because Cora Jade came back from 3 ACL tears.
That's true.
Like you can't tell me, you sit here and we talk about Tua and the hip injuries. She came back, and I think it was actually only 2. I think it was one for each leg, right? She tore each ACL, right? And
wait, hold on a second, sir. I'm not gonna let you just go ahead and brush that off. How dare you disrespect Cora Jade and try to compare her with Tua Tagovailoa? Tua Tagovailoa is soft, and he gets hurt all the time, and he doesn't work hard. Cora Jade does 20,000 times better than Tua Tagovailoa.
Yes,
okay,
how
dare you throw that little nugget in there? Throw that.
I apologize, Cora.
Yes, thank you. Please. Let's make that clear. How dare you disrespect Cora by comparing her to Tua? Jesus Christ. Anyways, back to what you were saying.
I don't even remember where I was at now. Oh, but the reports that they were lazy and this and that. I don't think it ever came down to them being lazy. I think it came down to where we've gotten everything that we're going to get from Cora Jade in NXT. You don't have plans for her on the main roster. She becomes, unfortunately, releasable.
Yeah, I mean...
And again, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong because I probably wouldn't have made that cut. But also, I wasn't there to know what the situation was. They don't just sit there with a dartboard and be like, hey, let's see who's getting released today. I mean, that might have been back in the day. But now it's not. Now it's like you have to have... calculated decisions on this because the money part of it becomes a real thing. And since a lot of your bigger stars are getting paid astronomical, unfortunately, you're going to have to cut the mids and that little mid area is where most of your cut's going to come from because the bottom isn't going to help you get to the number. So you're going to have to lose the mids, which are some of the people that you use, unfortunately. And you got to believe that, okay, who becomes the next who becomes what Cora Jade was? Who becomes what Dakota Kai was? And then who's on the roster to do that now?
Here's my issue with this question is that number one, do I feel that Aleister Black or what I prefer calling him Malachi Black. I prefer that name. But did he come into the right frame? He had a match with The Miz, and I guess they want to do some story with The Miz, but I felt like it was a lackluster type of setup for him return, and I feel like they did the same. I think with Rusev, I think they made a bad mistake putting him against Otis. I think they should have put him against another wrestler that we could have gotten like a Luther Kaiser maybe out there, and it could have gone heel or baby. It doesn't matter, but I think it would have been a little bit better if you would have giving him a better opponent. Not to say Otis can't hang with him, but I'm just saying it just felt like it gave Rusev, like it was him beating Otis and then getting booed by that crowd was not a win-win for him. Is like if
But
he
how do
does,
you know what the reaction they wanted from the crowd was, though? Again, you're thinking it's,
you,
they
you
brought
want a
Rusev in to be this
you
baby
want
face.
you want a reaction from the crowd. You didn't. You really. It was you kind of didn't get the reaction that you wanted from the crowd, whether it
If
was
you're
booing or
booing, it's a reaction, though, bro. Like, everything's not like,
Sean. It was not like wow or anything like that. It was you. It was a kind of lackluster type of. It was like a John Cena moment, where it was a lackluster performance. It was.
they're reintroducing the characters, bro. It's like, again, it's instant gratification that you want. And that's not what WWE is going to give you if you're not Cena, Orton, CM Punk, Roman Reigns,
Oh,
one of those guys. You're
confusing
not
that. You
gonna
want to
get
know
it.
why? You want to know why? Because when they debuted Penta, look how they debuted Penta. They went ahead and put him against, I believe it was Luther Kaiser or in Royal Rumble it was Rey Mysterio. So the first thing you got was Rey Mysterio against Penta. That was a wow moment. You understand me? You're telling me no, you can't use it, but they did it with Penta. That's what I'm saying. Like they pick and
In, a,
choose who
in,
they
a,
want
in
to
an
do.
environment like in a battle royal, you could put them against anybody.
Okay, but again, I'm just giving you an example as far as like when you say you just finished telling me, hey Frank, if you introduce somebody, they're not gonna go with a wow. They did a wow with Penta, even after the whole Royal Rumble. They debuted him on Monday
Yeah,
Night Raw on Netflix. They did more stuff for him. He for one is somebody that when
he
they introduce
debuted
him,
on the first Raw of Netflix, January 6th. That was
him,
his first debut.
him, in my opinion, was a very good debut when it comes to
Yes.
WWE. They saw you could tell that they're like, hey, this guy, we see potential in this guy, so we're gonna push him right from the beginning and give him a pop. And that's exactly what they did. Now that they have Rusev, now that they have Aleister Black, I do not see that. I saw them like what you just said a couple minutes ago. They brought them back with their names. Hey, look here, they're back. Let's see what the crowd, if we get a reaction from it. If we do, then maybe we could work with it. If they don't, then we got to try to see if we could change it up or spice it up. That way, this is going to work out. In the long run, in my eyes, I might be wrong on this, but I feel that in the long run, Rusev and Aleister Black are going to get cut again. Give them about a year or so, and they'll get cut again. Now, when it comes to NXT stars,
They
Roxanne,
just got there, bro.
but
We're 2 weeks in. Can we let stuff go? Like, okay, so let me get this right. You bring Penta in as a superstar. You already brought Jacob Fatu in with a rocket on his back, right?
good debuts on those guys.
Yes,
Good way
because again, they were seen as okay, they're going to the top. By the way they introduced them, to me, what I saw was they know what they have with Aleister Black and Rusev. They know what their ceilings are. They've had them under the banner. They know what they're going to be able to push them to be. And to me, that's Intercontinental Champion and US Champion. That's it. They're going to be the guys that are there for the heel that's going up for the title or the baby face going up for the title to get through to elevate them.
And for
Penta
me,
and them, they think can be stars, is what I think. That's what
and for me, Aleister Overy and Rusev, I don't even think they're gonna get to become an Intercontinental
Oh no,
Champion.
I would hope Aleister Overeem can't because he's not there.
But I mean,
And that's how memorable he is for you. You can't remember his name. Calm
correct.
down, Hogan. Calm down, buddy.
Call me Hogan. Yeah, because Hogan was messing up Benjamin.
Shelton Benjamin.
Benjamin Shelton. Sorry, Benjamin Shelton, like Hulk Hogan mentioned him.
And you
But
got Aleister Overeem, who's not even in the. He's UFC, man.
I keep saying Aleister. Well, he used to be in the UFC. No, he's not.
Yeah,
If Memo was on a chat board, he would be cracking up because he knows Aleister Overy. Aleister Black. Let me just call him Malachi Black, because the AEW one, because I prefer him as the Malachi Black. But again, I'm just saying with those, that's how I feel about those guys. That's how I feel like I don't even feel like by bringing them back that they're gonna make it to even become an Intercontinental Champion or a USA Champion. I don't even think they're gonna go.
I just think you expect.
I hope I'm wrong, but
you expect PLE and pay-per-view shows like every card.
No, man. I'm just saying, like when you're bringing in somebody, like, dude, it should be like like you really are pushing them. I felt like they kind of lackluster with those two.
These aren't feuds, though. The first feud might be Ludwig Kaiser or somebody else. This is just, hey, to me, I think Aleister Black's first feud is going to be Carmelo. Carmelo Hayes.
I thought it was Miz.
No, Miz is the one to reintroduce him. You saw him and Melo go face to face. Melo tried to sneak up on him. Aleister sat down and stared at him. And then he backed out and left. Like, I think that's going to be the first quote unquote feud. This is just to get him back on TV and get his feet back in there.
Well, look,
he's still messing up because he almost messed up on his backflip into the seat because he's used to the AEW ropes and not the real ropes that WWE uses. And there's no live shows anymore to where you get all that worked out.
No Doubt says the Miz, that is someone that could be cut. And that's true. Miz
but he's done too much, man. He's done too much for that.
What are you talking about? Shayna Baszler was doing a lot in the NXT world, and they cut her ass. She was behind the scenes, and she was helping all those NXT wrestlers, and they cut her ass.
Let's ask this. Let's just say they don't bring her back under a contract, not under a performer, but as a person in the office to work with NXT.
We should call this
and then she can do things and do whatever else.
We should call this the Squared Circle Digest Assumptions.
Well, I mean, aren't we assuming that we just they cast everybody off as they're dead to me?
No, you're assuming that they're gonna bring Shayna Baszler back.
No, I'm saying, what's to say that? But you just said like they just dumped her. Like, how do you know they just dumped her?
No. I didn't say that they dumped her. I said that she was working behind the scenes. And
then you said, and they just got rid of her.
And
they dumped her.
And then they got rid of her.
Yeah, but what's to say that there's not a working agreement behind or something? Not saying there is. I have no clue.
That's why I said we should change the name to the assumption. You're right.
Yeah. We can assume.
We could assume that they're going to bring her back.
Yeah. We could assume they bring back Dakota Kai. We can assume they bring back Gigi Dolin. We can assume.
I'm be honest with you. If I'm those girls or the guys that got cut, my work ethic would change even more. Like I would work even way more harder and try to freaking kick, kind of like what Ricochet has been doing, because Ricochet has kind of flourished outside.
No, Matt Cardona is the one that you want to use.
Matt Cardona is another one that freaking kills it in the indie shows, and he came on Busted Open and he was saying, "Yo, if you bust your ass, you could make really good money on the indie show."
You have to reinvent yourself and do the shit that Matt Cardona does. Mark Cardona is not afraid to make himself look like a crazy nutbag because it works. He said, "I'm the indie god." He dressed up as Indiana Jones. He's got the thing. He redid like death matches, which wasn't his forte. Uh-huh. He's done everything that you would want somebody to do to reinvent themselves. And to be honest, I think a lot of them are figuring out. Dakota Kai totally went back to her hair. I guess her hair is always curly, and she straightened it for WWE. It's curly now. You would even recognize her.
No, I recognize her because she's on Instagram.
Hot. You would not recognize.
I recognize her.
Who she is. And then Josh said, "What do you think about Rousey might come back?" Please. I heard that, and look, I didn't like Rousey when she was there before. So to be honest, whatever. That's Goldberg to me. There is Dakota Kai.
She's definitely recognizable, sir. Look at that face. She's so hot.
All right, one more wheel deal.
Let's do the wheel.
Time to spin the wheel.
Matt Cardona is not afraid to lose. A lot of guys just don't want to lose. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think it's ego.
And the indie shows, man, you just gotta roll with it, man.
Oh, it's again. You get to finish your thought.
I know, right? They probably felt that I was still talking about it. That's why.
Oh yes, yes, yes! I love this one because I don't know if you saw. Did you see what Becky Lynch did on the Raw podcast after?
Yeah, bro. Becky, but she's a heel.
Awesome, bro.
She's a heel now. She's
a
heel.
Awesome.
She's a heel now.
She had to bite her lip to be like, she wanted to laugh with them too.
Yeah, so it comes out that Mercedes Moné is charging people to text message
back and forth with her. Yeah.
Supposedly Sean signed up. Sean, did you?
I am signed up. I got one right here.
Can you text message her and ask her? Is she watching the show right now?
Yeah. Hold on, I'll do it right now.
I wonder if she really does.
Show right now.
I wonder if she really is.
Man. I better not. I better not say what she responded back.
Shit, she must have. To tell her, can you ask her? Does she think Frankie Fresco's hot? Because if she does, then
Look, by the comments she told me, I'm gonna be like, tell your co-host he doesn't know shit. That's all she said. And the dollar sign is the S.
damn.
Legit.
I mean, I don't know about all that
It
because
cost me $99. Thanks, bro.
I didn't know that. I didn't know she
That's
felt
my
that
one
way.
text I get. And now
She gave me a different impression when I met her over there in Orlando at the pay-per-view. So when I did mention, hey, you should check out my boy Sean Stanley, she's like, who? Anyways, so that all of a sudden, people are signing. Yeah, you want to take shots at me? I'm gonna take shots at you.
Take shots, man. We can do this all day long.
So I $99 to text message Mercedes Moné. I mean, who would sign up for that crap? I mean, granted,
Somebody did.
somebody must have did, bro. That's insane. Like, I would not pay $99 to sign. I mean,
Bailey did. I took that from Sammy.
yeah, no. I did like the fact that Mercedes
Bailey
Moné.
probably got a deal. They're probably $45 if they're friends. Friends and family discount.
I did like the fact that Mercedes Moné did cut off Natalia's face and put Dakota Kai on there, and then she has that picture of it's Tony Storm.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if all of them come back to AEW. That would be pretty cool if they actually do that. But anyways, so yeah, man, I don't know, man. I guess my train of thought is like, who would be dumb enough to go ahead and pay $99 to? I mean, they have to be like hardcore Mercedes Moné fans
There's dummies out there that
and
are gonna
hardcore
do it,
wrestling
bro.
fans. I'm a
I'm a hardcore wrestling fan, but I'm not a nut. And there's nuts
Exactly.
out there.
There you go.
Man.
That's the
There's
right.
nuts
That's
out
the right.
there, bro.
Yeah.
They're gonna pay $99, thinking that. Oh, and let's be honest, okay? Do you really think it's Mercedes Moné on the other end, or do you think it's a bot?
It could be AI. You're right.
It's more than likely a bot, and I guarantee you, there'll probably be some that she does personally, because again, you got to put the personalization on it. But there's no way that she's gonna sit there and be like, "Okay, here we go. I got to answer all my texts." But again, I guess if you're paying $99 a month for something,
yeah, like take a look. If she gets let's say she gets 20 people to sign up.
what do you get for the $99? Is it like a certain amount of texts?
Dude, she gets if she signs up 20 people, just 20 people, she's already getting close to 2 G's for 20 people in that month. No, I mean, makes sense. Maybe other wrestlers should start doing the damn thing. Not only that, but how long will it take for her to reply? Will she even reply? And then the other thing is, how deep are her replies going to be? Like, let's say you got some nut job out there that says, hey, Mercedes Moné, send me some nude pics. What is she going to do? Is she going to block them and give them back their money back? Because, I mean, they did pay $99. These are a lot of important questions that I wish Mercedes Moné was on the show. We could ask her. Because, like you said, there is some nuts out there, and I'm pretty sure some of
All
them
right,
are
so I'm on
probably-
MercedesMonet.com.
Talk to me.
And it says, my super fans have always been my super friends. Now, like friends, they can text me directly and privately. I'm so excited to finally be able to connect this way. Sign up and text me now. For just $99.99 a month, you get exclusive, one-on-one, personal, private. Get my private number that only my super fans can use. Let's see here how it works. Spots are extremely limited, so if you want to chat with me directly, don't wait. Let's make this happen. I'm going to go to sign up here real quick.
Whoa. There's only a certain amount of spots, so that means she has a cap on it, which has to be able to reply.
Here are the rules if you sign up.
Oh, talk to me. Let me hear
Be
this.
patient. Responses may be delayed due to schedules and travel. As a fan, you are not allowed to send images or videos.
No dick pics?
Subscription cancellation. We or you may terminate your subscription at any time, effective upon the end of your current term.
Refund?
Please refrain from using inappropriate language. Repeated violations may result in your account being blocked. So there you go. You just have to confirm that you're 18, that you've read the rules, and that you understand the privacy policy.
I think
And I have
Sean,
a feeling this is 100% a bot.
you don't fit the criteria, Sean.
Oh, no. I don't fit the criteria when they said I wouldn't pay $1.99 to text Mercedes Moné.
I wouldn't pay a single cent to text messenger. I mean, shit.
My texts are free.
Yeah, exactly. No, look at no doubt. That is no fun. Yeah, man. Like you're like you know what? As a matter of fact, That would be funny if you like. It's funny because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of guys that probably sent him some dick pics or something like that. But
People probably just pay $99.99 just to send it and to get deleted. Bam, you're banned. Oh, okay.
unless she likes it, unless she's like, oh, shit,
$100 to send it.
this was a good one. I'm gonna keep it, but then I'm still gonna delete you. But I'm gonna keep it. That'll be funny though.
All right, last one, and then we go picks.
Uno más. Oh, we're not talking AEW. Well, there's not that much going on in AEW. Oh, okay.
I was interested to discuss this one. I'll let you go first,
Well-
Frankie Fresco. You're Mount Rushmore of WWE all time.
Well,
I couldn't put the all time on there because it dropped another line, and all time came out on another thing.
before I answer the question, right? I do want to give props to the chat board. This was a question from the chat, so shout
And
out.
No Doubt did send in another chat. We didn't get that, didn't come up, but it'll stay on there. It was actually about Otis.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so if you guys want to participate, keep on sending us the questions, and we'll add them to the spin the wheel. And keep in mind, if we don't get to it, like what Sean said, we'll keep it on the wheel. That way, we could possibly get them hopefully the following week. My Mount Rushmore. So when is Mount Rushmore? We're talking about 4, right? Is it 4 or 5?
4. Yeah, we haven't added the 5th yet, I don't think.
No, I don't think so. Okay, so
Right? Isn't Mount Rushmore 4, right?
I think it's 4. Yeah, it's like top 4. Yeah, you can verify. Very simple for me, man. I'm gonna be biased a little bit with some of the guys that I like because again, I just at the end of the day, I'm gonna go ahead with some of the guys that I feel that deserve to be there.
But no. Remember though, this is Mount Rushmore WWE all time.
So that means that what they did in WWE or that they stayed in WWE the whole time?
No, what they did, I would think. Like Mount Rushmore is because of what they've, totality.
Okay. So for me, I have to put the Undertaker on there because he's a badass. He's been able to categorize. He's two different. He was able to do two things that were remarkable, and that was the Dead Man, make him relevant. The whole WrestleMania undefeated record and all that stuff, hands down, deserves to be there. The other guy I would add on there is obviously Stone Cold, and the reason I would add Stone Cold is because Stone Cold had that feud with Vince McMahon. That was the whole Attitude Era. Just elevated them to the point where they were down in the dumpster because of WCW, and then because of all that, the Bret Hart, the blood. I mean, they just inducted that match to the Hall of Fame. You gotta give Stone Cold props for that. For me, The Rock is on there, and the reason I say The Rock is because WWE stands for World Wrestling Entertainment. And if you're looking for somebody to entertain us, there's no one better than The Rock. The guy has insane mic skills. The guy, every time he shows up, the viewership goes through the roof. The guy's impressive. Like, he is the definition of entertainment when it comes to WWE. So I have to put him on here. And then probably I see No Doubt put his. I saw a couple of you guys put on there as well. I'm gonna knock some of you guys out. I don't think Cena deserves to be there. I would like to put in Hulk Hogan because he was a pioneer, obviously, and he did that. Goldberg is another one. But I feel like Goldberg did more in WCW than what he did in WWE.
If you're saying Goldberg belongs on there, not Cena, you're out of your goddamn mind.
Brock Lesnar is another one that I feel that could have been potential out there. But I knew if I put Brock Lesnar, you would have like a.
You can put whatever you want. Yours is wrong.
Mine is not wrong. On the question, say it again. It was Mount Rushmore of WWE.
All time.
And we're just we're just talking about wrestlers, or can we talk about also like people in general?
What do you mean? I'll tell you my 4, and you can go off of that if you want.
Right, don't worry, I'm not gonna. If I'm gonna put somebody on there at the end of the day, you're probably gonna call me biased, but I'm gonna go with a woman. I'm gonna put in a woman in there because I feel like women need to be shown some love, and the one that deserves to be there is none other than Becky Lynch. I think Becky Lynch, It could be a toss up between her and Charlotte Flair, but Becky Lynch, in my eyes, what she's been able to do, and how she always elevates herself and changes from the man to the other different types of name. I forgot how many times she's changed it and all that stuff, but she always elevates herself. She's, her matches with Ronda Rousey was one of the first matches to headline WrestleMania. So those things are very significant in the wrestling world and in the women's division. So I think she elevated the women's division. So I have her in my Mount Rushmore. I'll put her in there as well as the 4 people.
All right. So my 4 is Hulk Hogan, because of course there's 2 people. VKM and Hulk Hogan have to be on there because there's no WWE.
That's why I was
either. And then the thing also, though, is Vince did it in the ring as well because of Stone Cold, who was my 3rd person on there, but not only because of what he did in the ring with Vince, but also he started that whole marketing, merchandising thing with the 316 and went through and everything else. So he revolutionized there. Now, the 4th one, depending on how you want to go about it, to me, would be The Undertaker, just because of how long he's been around and the respect. But then you could go back and say, you could throw Bruno Sammartino on there. You could throw John Cena in there because of what he's done lately. You could throw The Rock in there because, as you said, the entertainment side of it, he took it to another level as well, by bringing in the mainstream. You know what I'm saying? Like, with The Rock and things like that. So
we forgot Triple H. Triple H could be another one too.
Yeah. But to me, Triple H is more. He's been he would be the Rock of the faces on there would be the 4, and then you'd have your Shawn Michaels, Bret Harts, Triple H's, because they're more the heart and the soul of the company, whereas those faces made the company what it was.
Cool.
On there. All right. Let's do last picks. There are. Oops. What did I just do?
I don't know. Well, before you do that, quick shout out to the chat board. Josh had Goldberg, Stone Cold, The Rock, and John Cena. Yep. No Doubt had Hogan, Stone Cold, Undertaker, Cena. What's up with you guys and Cena? Finch TV had Bruno, Hogan, Stone Cold, and Cena again. What's up with you guys with Cena, bro? Like, why are you guys dick riding on Cena, bro? And then
because it's recency bias, and now you have all the things. I mean, a lot of these guys. The thing is, though, is Cena was a lot of wrestling for a lot of people because they didn't really start watching until maybe the Attitude Era, the Monday Night Wars, and things like that. So they forget that there was wrestling before that.
I get it, but John Cena, I feel like there's like all the guys we mentioned is still way above Cena. I mean,
I'd say he's not a huge Cena fan, but he deserves it. My thing is, and as you said, like when you said Becky Lynch, my problem is she kind of reinvented that. But when you look back at all of the ladies that wrestled before that were the what they used to call it, the attraction. You always had one attraction on the show. It was the small people wrestling. It was a ladies match. It was a Andre the Giant. It was a Haystacks Calhoun. There was always an attraction. But the ladies weren't on the card all the time.
No.
Then you had Fabulous Moolah, who later in life we found out did a lot of bad shit anyways. But a lot of them pioneered, again, a lot of people think about the Divas era, but there was a lot of ladies wrestling before that.
Oh, China's a good one too.
Richter, China revolutionized the men and the women.
Yeah, China was
kind of working together in there too. So it's tough when you get into that because to me there should be a whole nother.
Hey, you know what we could do next time? The Mount Rushmore of the women. How about that?
Yeah, that's what we could do. Honestly, for each one. Oh, Wilford Joseph is in. You missed the AEW talk. It was there.
Wilford, did you pay the $99 to text message Mercedes Monet? Let us know.
Yeah, Wilford, did you pay the $99? That's a good question. Let's find out from Wilford. Did he pay $99.99 to text Mercedes Monet? All right, let's jump into the picks because we got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Jacob Fatu, LA Knight, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre. Fatal 4-way for the U.S. title. What say you, Frankie Fresco?
You know, look, man, I like Jacob Fatu, Drew McIntyre, LA Knight, and Damian Priest. I'm going to remove LA Knight and Damian Priest. I don't think they have a shot. I really do feel that Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre would be a really good feud to have after this. So I hope that they find a way to bring those two into duking it out afterwards, because I think that would be, obviously they're both heels, but I think it will be very, very entertaining. So I hope they find a way to like mix it in. But I really, at the end of the day, feel like Jacob Fatu is going to be able to retain his belt. So I'm going with Jacob Fatu all day.
Yeah, I don't think you strap a rocket to him and then give him a title and have him. Although,
Well,
you know my talk about when you do the fatal 4-ways, Jacob Fatu doesn't have to be pinned.
True.
You know, you could still keep him strong, and that's why. But I feel like this is going to be Jacob Fatu's night. But I still feel like there's going to be something with Solo in this match.
Could cost him something.
It could. But Wilford says, I don't pay nothing. I'm cheap. I'm a teacher. What does he teach? He teaches AEW. He's all elite. He teaches the elite.
I mean, he does have Collision up there in his top 4.
He does. It is up there. Dominic Mysterio versus Penta for the Intercontinental title. I will tell you this now. I am torn on this match. Because as much as like WWE recently under Triple H, you don't get the fluffs where like Penta gets disqualified or Dominic gets disqualified. There's usually a winner, whether it's like somebody interfering and things like that. Now that's different. So like I don't feel like, is Dom the one to give Penta his first singles pinfall loss? Hell yeah, he is. The mullet maintains the IC title at Backlash.
I feel that Dominic Mysterio has too many people in Judgment Day, even though Liv Morgan is right now out and doing her movie stuff. But he did get JD McDonough. I'm pretty sure he's going to get involved. Carlitos is probably going to get involved. Obviously, there's a chance that Finn Balor might get involved, but I don't know if maybe, I feel like maybe Finn Balor tries to get involved and then he tries to cost Dominic Mysterio, but then, he's still able to retain.
Penta. I think he goes to cost Dominic, but he actually helps because then it'll be like, oh, Finn, thank you for helping me beat Penta. You know what I'm saying? Like they can work it.
Yeah.
He wasn't trying to. It just happened, like a chair shot or something.
Because
I feel like they have set up for AJ versus Dom with yesterday. Because then now you got Finn and AJ's probably going to do something. And honestly, to be honest, I think that's when Finn turns and we get a little bit of Bullet Club.
Yeah. I got
AJ maybe.
I got Dom winning, but with assistance from the Judgment Day. I don't think it's a clean win. A clean win for Dom. There's no way.
Oh no! I don't think this match is clean. I don't think Penta does not get beat clean. No.
But
he might get pinned, but it.
And you know what? They're
Josh is right there.
I wouldn't even be surprised if maybe a Grande Americano shows up and probably could do something to it because there's some feud also with Penta as well.
Yeah,
remember?
And then Josh says, "Do you think we'll see the Lucha Brothers reunion?"
There you go.
And maybe that happens with El Grande Americano coming out, and then Rey Fenix cuts off him, and then that's when Finn turns into thinking he's going to cost Dom, and then he doesn't, and he ends up costing Penta. Sorry, I forgot who he was fighting at for a minute because I'm reading the next match. Gunther versus Pat McAfee.
Hold on, before you continue, because I know Memo's already put this more than once. Sean, maybe you could answer this. Why was Finn Balor wearing a Dirty Dom shirt? Did you see that?
I think it's just going with the whole thing. Because remember when AJ left, he's like, "Why do I got to clean up your mess?" And I just think it's a little nugget to where it's like, because he said, "I'm just kidding," right? Like he's really just like being sarcastic as hell around Dom. Like that's why I feel like something happens at Backlash and then leading up to, whereas, like I said, like when you brought up that idea, it made me think that he tries to cost Dom, but it slipped and he hit Penta or something and actually helps him. So then it looks like he's still supporting Dom when in actuality he was not.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
that's my thinking. Again, I don't know everything else. I mean, I know. Did you send me the thing about AJ Lee in the promo with Seth Rollins? Was that you or was that?
Yeah, I sent you that.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, WWE's great at putting little nuggets in there if you look for them and you read them or you understand what they might be. I don't sit there and give it that much time. I do when I see it on the boards or something like that, then I'm like, oh, okay, all right, I'll go back and look and try to find it. But I can't sit there and try to pick out every little egg they do, man. That's just crazy trying to figure it out. Because, again, like we talked about that one week, I think they do some stuff just to see if it works, and then they can go back to it 3 or 4 years down the road, a la CM Punk and Paul Heyman, and then the main event walking you down the aisle. Like, they never figured that was going to work out like that from 12 years ago. But, hey, I digress. Gunther and Pat McAfee.
This was a close one in my eyes, but not really. Gunther's going to destroy Pat McAfee, bro. There's no way Gunther loses this match, especially after yesterday's face-off.
No. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't. The only thing that I'm interested to see what happens here is who comes out to save McAfee to be Gunther's next feud. Because I think somebody's going to come out and save Matt. And then the other thing I questioned was this. Why not do this match later on when you know you got to write McAfee off to go do college football? You know when college football rolls around, he's gone. So why not book this match for that pay-per-view, and then now he's gone the whole time, unless he's got to leave now to go do other stuff. I don't know. But this feels like they're writing him off of TV for a while. You just don't get him choked out, and then he shows up Monday night like, yeah, guys, what's up? Yeet, yeet, yeet. No.
Yeah, and not only that, but Gunther destroyed him when he choked him out. So it would just be a surprise for me if freaking he loses to Pat McAfee.
Yeah, I mean, unless they do some kind of stupid, like they did with Big Show and Floyd Mayweather, when Floyd Mayweather took off the glove and nailed him with the brass knucks, and you know, like stupid stuff like that. But I don't feel like this is that cartoonish era where they'll do that. Now, it'd be interesting to see if they get any of the McAfee show involved, like, because again, they jumped over the railing. Like, could this be another one, like we were talking about with Dom, where people get involved and something stupid happens? I don't know.
I feel that.
To me, Gunther chokes him out in like 20 seconds, and we go on with the show.
I feel that. Wait, where's Backlash at?
It is in St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh yeah, because that's Randy's house.
Randy's house. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So no, that's fine. I think I'm pretty sure Gunther will beat him. And even if this Pat McAfee's crew jumps in, I still think Gunther will destroy the whole crew as well. So
yeah, leave the whole Pat McAfee show laying as they go on hiatus.
That would be pretty cool
from ESPN.
If he lays out all of them, that would be pretty cool.
Oh, God, that'd be great.
That would be funny.
It'd be funny.
Plus, remember what you were mentioning a couple last week? I think he was like, "How is he gonna?"
You got to make. I agree with what you're saying. Like, you got to make him. Like to me, if Pat does, maybe he catches him with something early, or Gunther goes charging at him, and he hits the corner. McAfee gets out of the way, does a couple of his quick things, but then once Gunther gets him, it's over. Like, it can't be Pat McAfee fighting back like he's, a WWE superstar. Becky Lynch, Lyra Valkyria for the Women's Intercontinental title. I got to tell you, after watching last night, I saw Lyra lay out Becky, which tells me Becky lays out Lyra. Becky Lynch will be your new IC champion.
For me, I'm kind of torn here because I do feel that Lyra Valkyria, she did get the upper hand. But it just seems like Becky is the man, and she's a heel now, and I feel that, like we've all been speculating, eventually she might go and join that Paul Heyman group as well. So I agree with you, man. I gotta go with Becky Lynch. I hope she beats Lyra Valkyria.
All right, both legends fighting for pride, legacy, and one last big win. This match is not just about the past, it's about who still belongs at the top
Wait, before you ask that question, I have here that there's 2 more matches that are being added. I don't know if this is
I'm
true.
going off of what we have right now. If they add them, what are the 2 matches they're talking about adding?
I got Tiffany Stratton versus Nia Jax, and then I also have Io Sky and Rhea Ripley versus Julia and Roxanne Perez. Those are the other 2 matches that I believe are going to be added.
That last one sounds odd because I agree with the fact that they did that, but I think that's going to be Raw
Okay.
because I don't. I may be wrong. I may be wrong. They could do something on SmackDown to where, but it just doesn't. I don't know. Either way, or maybe I don't know. They could do something on social media, but we're gonna go off the 5 that we have right now,
Okay.
and then we'll just maybe we'll pick winners and then we'll make them tiebreakers because I think we're going the same way with most of these. Because this match, I gotta feel I've got John Cena winning it. John Cena over Randy Orton, just because storyline says Cena got to keep the belt. Like Orton doesn't get the belt. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
For me, I feel the same way, and I feel that this match is gonna be a boring match. I feel like John Cena is gonna be doing the same thing that he pulled off with Cody, where he's gonna be very, very like not into the fight or anything like that.
He's going to ruin pro wrestling for the fans.
So I feel that he's gonna be kind of lackluster out there in his performance, but he still finds a way to win. So I got John Cena winning as well.
Yeah, and that's going to be the interesting thing, like what shenanigans. Because again, they didn't really do. Well, I guess you had Travis Scott come out at WrestleMania, but there really wasn't a lot of shenanigans in that match. I mean, Cody ended up taking out Travis Scott, and then he just turned into the AA, or no, Cena hit him with the belt, and then the AA, and it was over. So it'll be interesting to see what they're. Tiffany Stratton, Nia Jax. I'll go Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a match that they would actually put in because I don't think they've. I mean, I know Nia Jax attacked her a couple times.
Yeah, Nia Jax has been leaving her laying and stuff, but I don't. Again, but that one could happen more because they could set it up on SmackDown the night before the pay-per-view. To me, the other one seems a little more off because yes, they attacked her and left her laying in the ring, but there was no Rhea.
Because she was in Australia.
Yeah, but then how do you build the match? Is what I'm saying. Io goes to Adam Pearce on social media and demands a tag team match, and I'm going to bring my partner in, and it's a mystery partner.
Unless they came out today in NXT, I don't know.
Nothing yet, but it's still
All
going. So
maybe
Frankie, I went way over your time, man. Let them know where they can get you, man.
No, before you go, hold on. I got Tiffany Stratton against Nia. Tiffany beating Nia, and then if they actually do that, they do that tag team, Io Sky and Rhea Ripley against Julia against Roxanne Perez. I will go with Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. You can find me on all social medias, Frankie Fresco, X, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. If you can't find me as Frankie Fresco, it's either Frankie Fresco or Fresco Music, one of the two. And then, of course, if you guys are into the Miami Sharks rugby team, we have a game coming up next Friday. So not this Friday, but next Friday we have a home game. Tickets go for the tickets are going for like $20 now. So if you guys ever want to go, really fun games, really entertaining. I'm gonna be DJing that game. I'll be back showing some love to the Sharks. Hopefully we get a win there, and hopefully we make that push to be in the playoffs. So shout out to the Miami Sharks. Shout out to everybody in the chat board. Shout out to everybody who's watching on X and on YouTube. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe to the channel.
And also, Crown Jewel, Perth, Australia. It's not in Saudi Arabia this year. So just so you know, I saw that announced the other day. You can catch me at Stanley Media _11 on X. I'm at Stanley Media House everywhere else. You can catch me on Facebook. Go to the page. I got a page set up for Stanley Media House Network. Also on YouTube at Stanley Media House Network. I saw something on X about Rhea going to start her family, or her days numbered. I know Murphy had said something about they are looking at starting a family soon. So that might be why they're doing what they're doing. You know, again, she's doing tag team matches. She's not really figured into the big plans. And, you know, I will not say that that's when, again, I know it was talked about, but again, I don't know, if they've been trying, if it's already done. I mean, so we'll see what happens there on that. But Frankie, I appreciate you again for your time that you give me each and every week. Wilford Joseph says Sanders in AEW.
Does it mean Shador Sanders?
They drafted him? I mean, we will be seeing Hunter, right?
Or Deion Sanders? I don't know.
Maybe.
I want to go ahead and give a shout out to everybody who, again, watching us. Don't forget to hit the like and hit the subscribe button on both of our channels, the Frankie Fresco channel and on the Stanley Media House. And then one last thing, guys, SummerSlam. If maybe we could do something, we could all catch up or do something. See if we could set up something to watch SummerSlam. SummerSlam is on August the 2nd and August the 3rd. I don't think I'm going to be going because the tickets are pretty pricey right now.
Yeah.
Unless they go down.
I would like to do something. I mean, again, we have to figure out where everybody's located at.
Well, Sports Social. That's the one in Dolphin Mall. They were showing WrestleMania there this year. So I don't know if maybe they'll be showing SummerSlam. But if they are showing SummerSlam, maybe we could get a group. I know that I think it was Josh who's close to that area. And that's right on Dolphin Mall. So if any of you guys are local here in South Florida, and you want to go and see SummerSlam, maybe we could get a place. I think Sports Social, which is located at Dolphin Mall, that would be an option if you guys. And I don't think that's too far for all of us. But maybe we could.
Wilford's in West Palm Beach. He said he'd go for Beach Break AEW, but he's not going for SummerSlam.
Oh man, when Beach Break AEW? I don't even know when Beach Break.
I think that's coming up soon.
Yeah.
I want to thank Wilford, no doubt, Josh, Memo, of course, all of you guys in there, in and out. I appreciate all your conversations and contributions today. What else we got? Sammy was in with us. Finn's TV was in with us as well. D-Trappio was in. We got Screaming Homeroom, 9 Volt was in as well. We appreciate you guys every time jumping in there with the little bots. We love you. Cat for Life was in earlier. Appreciate each and every time that he's in there yelling at us. And my dad, appreciate you being in there as well. In the words of the great Gordon Soley. Oh, wait, we got one comment coming in. One comment just jumped in.
Terry.
Is it Terry? Thank you, Terry.
No, Terry didn't come out, but Terry was on there as well on Finn's TV if you didn't mention it.
No, that's what I meant. I saw Terry's. I was scrolling up at the end there. In the words of the great Gordon Soley, so long from the sun, shine.